Deep inside a cold cave in Romania, scientists found something surprising. They drilled into very old ice, about 5,000 years old, and discovered a tiny bacterium trapped inside. It had been sleeping all that time. When scientists warmed it up in the lab, it came back to life. Even more surprising, it could resist some strong antibiotics. Ice works like a natural time capsule. Every year, new layers of ice form, trapping dust, pollen, and tiny living things. Over thousands of years, these layers build up like pages in a history book. Scientists can study them to learn about the past. In this Romanian cave, there is a huge amount of ancient ice. Researchers go deep inside and drill long tubes of ice to study it. Some of this ice is over 13,000 years old, from a time before human civilization. The bacterium they found is special because it likes cold temperatures. Most harmful bacteria prefer the warmth of the human body, but this one grows better in cold, like inside a refrigerator. That means it is not likely to infect humans directly. So why are scientists concerned? The main reason is that bacteria can share genes with each other. These genes can include things like resistance to antibiotics. If an ancient bacterium shares its genes with modern bacteria, it could make them stronger and harder to treat. This kind of gene sharing does not happen easily. Many things have to go wrong for it to work. But as the planet warms and ice melts, more ancient microbes could be released, increasing the chances of this happening. There has already been a real example of this danger. In 2016, a heat wave in Siberia melted frozen ground. This released anthrax bacteria that had been trapped for years. It infected animals and even some people. Scientists have also found ancient viruses in frozen ice. Some of these viruses were brought back to life in labs after being frozen for thousands of years. However, most viruses are very specific. A virus that infected ancient animals may not be able to infect humans today. So, are we in danger? Not immediately. Most ancient microbes are either harmless or cannot survive in modern conditions. The bigger concern is long-term. Melting ice could slowly release unknown microbes into the environment, which might affect ecosystems or mix with modern bacteria. In simple terms, it's not a sudden disaster. It's more like a slow and quiet risk that scientists are carefully watching. What makes this discovery even more unsettling isn't just that something ancient came back to life. It's what it represents. Because that bacterium isn't the only thing the ice has been quietly holding on to. For thousands, sometimes even millions of years, glaciers, caves, and frozen ground have been acting like Earth's deep freeze, locking away creatures, chemicals, entire ecosystems, and secrets we were never meant to see. And now, as that ice begins to melt, those secrets aren't staying buried anymore. Ancient animals emerging from ice. As the ice melts, it's not just microbes being uncovered. Sometimes, it's entire animals. Frozen deep beneath glaciers and permafrost, scientists have discovered incredibly well-preserved creatures from the Ice Age, like the woolly mammoth, Mammuthus primigenius, cave lions, and ancient wolves. These aren't just skeletons. In many cases, their fur is still thick, their skin still leathery, and their bodies still shaped exactly as they were thousands of years ago. It's less like finding a fossil, and more like opening a freezer that hasn't been touched since the Ice Age. The reason this happens is because extreme cold slows down decay almost completely. Bacteria that normally break down a body can't function properly in freezing temperatures. So instead of rotting away, these animals are preserved almost perfectly, like nature's own deep freeze. But sometimes, preservation goes even further. In Siberia, scientists found a young mammoth so well preserved that when they examined its body, they discovered soft tissues and even traces of liquid blood. That's something almost unheard of for an animal that died tens of thousands of years ago. And it doesn't stop there. Some frozen animals still have food in their stomachs, allowing scientists to understand exactly what they ate. Others have intact muscles and organs, helping researchers study how these creatures lived, moved, and survived in extreme environments. These discoveries are like time capsules, giving us a direct look into a world that disappeared long before human civilization began. But there's also a futuristic twist to all of this. Because some of these remains still contain usable DNA, scientists are exploring the possibility of bringing extinct animals back to life. Projects are already underway to study mammoth DNA, with the idea of possibly recreating them or creating hybrid species adapted to modern environments. It sounds like science fiction, but it's slowly becoming reality. Still, there's a darker side to these discoveries. As more ice melts, more remains will be exposed, not just animals, but everything that was frozen with them. Bacteria, parasites, and unknown microorganisms could also be released after being locked away for thousands of years. So while these frozen creatures are incredible windows into the past, they may also carry pieces of it that were meant to stay buried. And the deeper the ice melts, the more of that hidden world begins to wake up. And here's the thing. We've only scratched the surface of what the ice is hiding. So if you're curious about what else could be locked beneath thousands of years of frozen silence, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. Because what comes next only gets more unbelievable. Lost human history revealed by melting ice. As the ice retreats, it's not just animals stepping out of the past, it's us. Across melting glaciers and frozen mountains, scientists are discovering ancient human artifacts that have been hidden for centuries, sometimes thousands of years. These aren't museum pieces placed carefully behind glass. They're objects dropped, lost, or buried by real people, frozen in the exact moment they were left behind. Arrows with sharp stone tips, leather shoes worn thin from long journeys, tools, ropes, even fragments of clothing. It's like stumbling onto a story that was suddenly interrupted and never finished. One of the most famous discoveries is Ötzi the Iceman, a man who lived over 5,000 years ago. His body was found preserved in ice, along with his clothes, weapons, and even the last meal he ate. Scientists could study everything, from his health to how he died, because the ice protected him so perfectly. And discoveries like this are becoming more common. In places like the Alps and Scandinavia, melting ice patches are revealing ancient hunting tools, walking sticks, and even entire travel routes used by early humans. These frozen areas acted like natural vaults, protecting fragile materials that would normally decay over time. What makes this so fascinating is that many of these items are made from wood, leather, and fabric, things that usually disappear from history completely. Without the ice, we would never even know they existed. But there's also a race against time. Once exposed, these objects begin to decay quickly. What survived for thousands of years in ice can be destroyed in just a few seasons of exposure. That means scientists are now rushing to recover and study these artifacts before they vanish forever. Every melting glacier is like a door opening, revealing forgotten journeys, lost lives, and moments that were frozen in time. And the more the ice disappears, the more human history quietly returns to the surface. Ancient plants and seeds coming back to life. Not everything that wakes up from the ice has teeth. Some of it has roots. Hidden beneath frozen ground, scientists have discovered ancient seeds and plant material that have been locked in ice for thousands of years. These seeds weren't fossilized or destroyed. They were simply paused. And when given warmth, water, and the right conditions, some of them have actually started growing again. It's like pressing play on life after thousands of years of silence. In a few remarkable cases, researchers have successfully grown plants from seeds buried deep in permafrost. One of the most famous examples comes from Siberia, where scientists revived a flowering plant from seeds estimated to be over 30,000 years old. The plant didn't just sprout, it lived, grew, and even produced flowers. That means its genetic instructions stayed intact all that time, protected by the cold. Ice works like a natural preservation chamber. It slows down chemical reactions and protects delicate biological structures. So instead of breaking down, these seeds remain in a kind of suspended state, waiting for the right moment to come back to life. And when they do, they offer something incredibly valuable. These ancient plants can give scientists clues about what Earth's environment looked like thousands of years ago, what grew, how ecosystems functioned, and how plants adapted to extreme conditions. But there's also something deeper and slightly unsettling about it. Because if plants can survive this long in frozen silence, it shows just how powerful nature's pause button really is. And as more ice melts, more of these long-lost seeds could return, not from a different place, but from a different time. Hidden landscapes and entire forests. Sometimes when the ice melts, It doesn't just reveal objects or creatures, it reveals entire worlds. In several parts of the planet, retreating glaciers have uncovered ancient forests that were buried under ice for thousands of years. As the frozen layers pull back, scientists have found tree stumps still rooted in the ground, fallen logs, and even preserved leaves, remains of ecosystems that once thrived where there is now only ice. It's like discovering a forest that time forgot. These trees didn't drift there. They grew there in a time when the climate was completely different. Their presence tells us that areas now locked in ice were once green, alive, and full of life. In some cases, the wood is so well preserved that you can still see growth rings inside the trunks. These rings act like natural records, helping scientists understand past temperatures, rainfall, and environmental changes. It's a snapshot of Earth before it changed. And that's what makes these discoveries so powerful. They don't just show us what was hidden, they show us how much the planet has shifted over time. Forests turned into ice, life replaced by silence. And now, slowly, that silence is being undone. But just like artifacts and ancient tools, these landscapes don't last long once exposed. As soon as they meet air, wind, and sunlight, they begin to decay. So scientists are in a race, trying to study these lost ecosystems before they disappear again, this time for good. Because every melting glacier isn't just losing ice, it's uncovering pieces of a world that once existed, and reminding us how easily that world can change. Ice caves as time capsules. Some of the most powerful secrets of our planet aren't buried underground. They're frozen in place. Deep inside places like the Skarishwara ice cave, massive blocks of ice have been quietly building layer by layer for thousands of years. Each layer forms from dripping water that freezes over time, creating a stacked record of the past. Think of it like pages in a history book, except this one is made of ice. Every layer traps tiny details from the time it formed: dust from the air, pollen from plants, even microscopic particles from distant regions. By drilling into this ice and studying those layers, scientists can figure out what the climate was like hundreds or even thousands of years ago. They can tell when the air was colder, when it was warmer, and even when major environmental changes happened. It's not just cold storage, it's a frozen archive. What makes ice caves especially unique is that they preserve local climate history in incredible detail. While polar ice caps show global patterns, caves like these reveal what was happening in specific regions, almost like zooming in on a single chapter of Earth's story. But there's a quiet urgency to all of this. As temperatures rise, these ice caves are slowly shrinking. The layers that took thousands of years to form can melt away in a fraction of that time, erasing records we haven't even had the chance to read yet. It's like watching pages of a history book disappear before anyone can open them. And with every drop of melting ice, a piece of Earth's memory slips away forever. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who loves mysteries, and subscribe to Mindboggler for more stories that make you see the world a little differently.